The Okie Geek podcast is brought to you by Okie Comics, a bi-monthly anthology publication showcasing the talents of Oklahoma creators with stories featuring Oklahoma. Copies are available at Half Price Books, New World Comics, Speeding Bullet Comics, All-Star Comics, Amazing Action Comics, Luton XP, Boarding House, Paseo Plunge, Museum of Osteology, and Commonplace Books, with more locations coming soon. You can find out more at okiecomics.com. Greetings and salutations, my fellow geeks, and welcome to episode 125 of the Okie Geek podcast, brought to you by Okie Comics. I'm Michael Cross.
I'm Nikki Robinson.
And I'm Joshua Unruh.
And coming up on Saturday the 17th is an art exhibition inspired by the world depicted in the Black Panther movie and comic books. Art of Wakanda features creations by local artists and crafters, live painting, music, and more. And the event is being put on by the Guild of Geeks and Gamers. And here to talk about it is Bomani Mohammed and Tamara Jiva. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
And, okay, first off, the Guild of Geeks and Gamers.
We love the name.
We're here to chat about the art show, but I feel like we've got to do a little foundational work before we can get there. Tell us about this organization, please.
It is more of a dream than an organization at the moment.
It's good.
I really appreciate, as a person who's bad at organizing things, I really appreciate that description.
As a person that runs a convention, we can turn that dream into a reality.
There you go.
Oh, honey, let's do it. Basically, the Guild is what I like to call a geek social club.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like a geek bar, but
Yes.
geek friendly.
Yes.
With more than just drinks. So, I do envision not just the art, but game nights. And we're actually going to start doing mobile game nights. But game nights, movie nights.
Yeah.
Just get all the geeks together. I'm on the northeast side of OKC, and there's not a lot of that in my community. Mm-hmm. So it's something that I really want to do. And most geeks tend to be a little introverted until they get around other geeks.
Right.
So I want to get around some other geeks because I'm in my house a lot.
I get all that.
Which I find that hilarious that you say that, because your son was kind of a little clamshellish until we started talking about Monster Hunter, and then we were just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And then
My people, right?
Yeah.
My people.
yes, my people are. I was like, well, I'm the gaming expert on this podcast.
Let's
You're
talk
in
about
good
it.
company.
And Bomani, how long have you been into the game scene?
I'd give it about maybe 3 years.
Yeah, and
he's
so
just a baby, and then he's
I
just a
know
little
you got
baby.
so much room to grow.
You gotta grow.
That is
great.
A lot of times I just study or, make art.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what that is.
An artist and a gamer, you gotta beat them.
Yeah, there we go.
That's awesome. That's very exciting.
He settled down early.
Yeah,
I was hoping I would have to spend some time beating them off. But no, he allowed me no opportunity to help him choose.
He didn't get any fun out of the deal.
No. She's cool, though. She's cool.
See, my son's just 12, so I still have a little bit of time.
So you say.
yeah, you say that now.
Well, he's also a little naive, so I'm kind of hoping he stays that way for
His
a while.
twin sister was like that, and I'm like, yes, one of them I'm not going to have to worry about.
My daughter, however, is 9, and she is the coolest thing on the block, and it's horrifying.
Yeah. So you've got this Art of Wakanda that's going on.
Is this the first big event?
It's the first big event.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we're kind of dialed into this, or we
Right.
tried to be, and we hadn't heard of your organization
Yeah.
until we saw the art show. So
I'm sucky at marketing. I am. Like, we've had a few open mic nights. I did a little fundraiser on the street, and literally it was just us.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
It always starts
I'm not,
that way,
yeah,
though.
I'm not big into the social media thing. We were talking about this earlier today. We were like, you know what? We really need to actually start using our accounts. I have Instagram and Twitter, and we're not using it. And of course, I'm not a reach out and speak to people person, so it's it's been hard.
Yeah.
But we're kind of rolling a little.
You're on the podcast.
Here we go.
Yeah, we are.
And with an event that I just can't speak for other people. I'm super excited about this.
Oh,
I'm
me
kind
too.
of over the moon for Black Panther right at this moment.
Yes.
Join the club.
I know.
So
I know.
over the moon, in fact, that we kind of got upset when other trailers were dropping.
We're like, you go away.
Who
I
cares? Who
cast
cares
a
about
lot of
anything?
shade on Ant-Man and the Wasp. I was like,
Nobody
cares
cares.
about you.
Nobody
I haven't
cares.
even played it yet. Like,
Yeah.
I've been scrolling past it. Like, I don't want to
Yeah.
see this
Nobody
yet.
cares.
Not
Nobody
important.
cares about you.
Not important.
Because
We have Black Panther to
Panther
talk
is
about.
going to be. I actually think there's going to be a whole bunch of movies coming out in 2018. I'm actually thinking Black Panther is going to blow them all away,
Oh,
and we'll still
definitely.
be talking about it in December.
Well,
Yeah.
Black Panther is correct me if I'm wrong, Joshua, which I know you will. Black Panther is the last one before the next Avenger movie,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah.
So it's
And
supposed-
apparently, which I didn't realize until the trailer dropped for Infinity War, just how big a deal Wakanda is.
Yeah.
To the Infinity War stuff. I mean, I figured there'd be some tie-in because Black Panther was coming out, and that's apparently where Captain America. Sorry, Steve. Where Steve's been working out
That's
of.
right. He's been
But
hanging
anyway,
out in Wakanda for some reason.
Yeah. So here we are. We're all over the moon. I want to hear about this art show.
Did
I'm
you
sorry.
say Captain Wakanda?
Captain Wakanda.
They have one. His name is Black Panther.
That's right.
We need no one else.
He's the king. Hey,
He's
no
the king.
one's better than the king.
Yeah.
So I just think it's going to be an exciting movie, and then that inspired this art show. What can people expect from this?
Well, we have some amazing young local artists. One of the biggest things I wanted to do was bring out these guys who have all this hidden talent. It's not even hidden. Like, they're doodling.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
amazing.
Barely
I have a
hidden.
Pictionary story to tell you guys that's the worst. But anyway.
We would love to hear it. Pictionary is Joshua's favorite game.
I can't draw. So that's a lot.
Don't play Pictionary with artists.
I know.
Oh, it's like playing charades with
Or
a
at
deaf
least put
person.
them on somebody else's team.
The time just runs out, and they're like, "I gotta get this line,"
Yeah.
or there's only half of the time, and it is a friggin' mural. There's
And
nothing
you
in
still
between.
can't see what it is.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, I got a lot of feelings.
Obviously.
He drew the Sistine Chapel. What is
But
it? It's
I
a finger.
don't
You
know.
were supposed to say finger.
Italy. Anyway, yes.
But anyway.
So
yeah,
barely hidden talents.
not even hidden.
No,
But
they're not.
and they're not doing a lot with it.
Yeah.
Because, and this is a personal opinion, I don't mean to offend anybody, but I feel like in that area, in our area, sports
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
and the military are pushed a whole lot more than STEM and so on. So
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
I think that's
Yeah.
fair.
So
Oh.
I have an artist who couldn't make it today who, he's going to kill me because I'm saying this in public. But, he goes to work at a retail store every day. And then when we go grocery shopping, we're throwing groceries on his sketchbook in the trunk. And I'm like, I'm seeing masterpieces with
Yeah.
milk thrown on top, And I'm just like, dude. So anyway,
Yeah, do something with this.
what the
Right.
point of the whole thing was for me to get them looking at it as not just how they what's a good word, unwind or stress
yeah.
relief, which some of them do, but looking at it as more something they can do to put money in their pocket as they go to college,
Oh, definitely.
or as a totally plausible career choice.
Yeah, yes.
He wants to be an engineer. He has like serious realistic art talent. I don't care if you want to be an engineer. I'm talking about you. And I love the fact that he wants to be an engineer. I love the fact
There's a lot of art in engineering.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
It's a
I've
very
had this
artistic
story.
role.
I've had this, like, hey, the car companies. There was a commercial the other day that I saw. I don't watch a lot of TV, so the commercial could be 20 years old for all I know. And it was a Japanese sculptor, and he was sculpting the new car. And I'm like, somebody didn't sit down and design that someone may have, but the guy was literally sculpting,
The framework and
of the
everything.
car. And
I have
like,
seen this commercial. It's a Honda commercial.
okay, so there is like space in every industry for
Right.
artists,
Yeah,
but
definitely.
these guys aren't. I keep blaming these kids, but I don't feel it's me.
It's our fault. It's our older generation's fault for not giving them that thought process and access to this. So really, I don't blame millennials hardly at all. I mean,
Yeah, no, there's a whole there's perhaps a regional lack of focus, but there's also the fact that the internet has made visibility for these things. Well, I mean, it's differently difficult, let's say, right? Like you have opportunities to put it in front of more people, but then other people are also doing that. So it's sort of a different set of troubles. Yeah. But the problem of I don't have anywhere to put my sketchbook is less the problem now, right? Yeah. But at the same time, if we want to talk about changing minds locally or like cultural shifts locally, art shows like this are a great idea.
Especially with so much buzz around Black Panther right now. Because, like, I mean, you could have done a Marvel Universe show few months ago. It would not have had the hype that it will have with this, because this is so hyped right now.
It is.
Yeah. I think it's wonderful, and you're right. I think, unfortunately, our society pulled away from arts and that kind of learning and worked more toward English, science, math, which are all important. Yeah. One of the things, even with STEM, a lot of people are talking about it should no longer be STEM. It should actually be STEAM.
Yeah.
Which would be science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. You have got to include music. You've got to include visual art. You've got to include performance art. Because without those, you don't have a well-formed society. And I think, hopefully, it's groups like yours that are trying to bring that back into a community, because it's not going to happen from our lawmakers. No, it's only going to happen from people who care about their community.
I 100%.
Wow,
I 100% agree.
No, I like this.
It's not even
our
shade.
Lawmakers are not people who care about their community.
No, they.
Wait, but what? I mean, if you consider our lawmakers, most of them. Who exactly consists of their community at this point? Because they're kind of removed from us.
No, I agree.
I'm not talking politics or anything, but
you are well within your.
You're in the right room, but it's also, and I get you. We don't want to wind up getting polemical, but at the same time, it's really difficult to separate these subjects, because if we're going to talk about cultural shifts towards art, then you are talking about shifts in the education system, and the education system is tied into our political system. There's a way to go I don't want to say too far. There's a way to sort of lose sight of the conversation you're trying to having by winding up in a more political realm, but they aren't separated. They cannot be at this point.
It's all part, like...
Yeah, and the only way it changes is for people to step up and go, this needs to be done. Yeah. And it's so wonderful to bring in artists, especially in Northeast Oklahoma City, which has almost become a forgotten area of Oklahoma City.
They remember us.
Unfortunately,
Requiem for Northeast Oklahoma.
It's never, you turn on any local news, and it's never anything good coming out of Northeast Oklahoma City. It's always the bad stuff, and it's ridiculous.
That is so
Which, of course, then we can get on my beef about broadcast television news, the if it bleeds, it leads type of stuff that they do, which is ridiculous, because I'm hoping that now that we're getting word out about this thing that you're doing, others will take notice that things are going on in Northeast Oklahoma City, and the Northeast 23rd corridor is growing, and there's going to be more stuff coming in there now. I think your Ward 7 councilman has been done a really good job of trying to get more stuff in there, but it's just going to take time. And right now, it's great that there is a geek society going on there, which needs to be there.
Yeah, and that's why the location we're leaving is literally on 23rd. I really wanted to be near Douglas and Northeast, Moon and Kip, because when we lived in that area, my kids walked to the library. They walked from Douglas. They walked from Northeast. So I wanted to be someplace where the kids can literally walk to, and still be in a place that's accessible to people outside the community who can come in and not feel, that it's all about what they saw on the news.
So where is the actual location for the art show?
The actual location for the art show is 1304 Northeast 23rd Street. Since we've moved, it's a little less. It's on the main street, but it's upstairs of a store called Spend and Win, which is next to Pino's Garage. It's the Pino's Tire Shop. It's at the corner of Lottie, and because we're doing this like last minute move, you're going to need the Dora Milaje to show you the entrance, and we will have them. I'm serious.
No, that's
because
great.
The entrance is off the side.
That's fantastic.
And my daughter's working on the costumes. They're not going to be. They're going to be like movie, comic, meld costumes because we're doing this quick.
We need to talk about the costumes.
We'll get
Oh my goodness. But yeah, so I'm going to have a couple of Dora Milaje on the street to guide you, and it's going to be a little trek. They're going to literally guide you safely into Wakanda.
Fantastic.
I love it.
And I think it's funny, but I think losing our original location allowed me to be a little bit more creative.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I'm so hyped for
And,
this.
and once you get up there, once we are escorted into the mysteries of Wakanda, so you're going to have art from artists we've probably never had the
heard of.
opportunity to hear from,
Right.
and a lot of comic book inspiration, African art inspiration. Like what kind of what. In what way are we inspired by Black Panther is what I'm trying to get to. Oh. Yes.
Go for it.
In the art aspect, the inspiration would come from the movie, the comics, and just, yes, the African culture. Mm-hmm. Just seeing how it all ties together. And so there's going to be a variety of styles when you actually walk into the building.
And will it be mostly just paintings, or will there also be sculpture? Will there
Sketches?
be? Yeah.
What are we seeing?
What are we looking at?
In what media
That's the word I was looking for.
will the artists be working?
Well, I have sketch artists, some paint. I've thrown some paint on some canvas myself for the first time in my life, by the way. So I have acrylic. I have pen.
I use marker.
Oh yeah.
And I believe, I'm not 100% sure, I have someone who's doing earrings, so it'd be wood and epoxy.
Oh,
wow.
But much like my glass, I think there's going to be some comic book collage kind of situation going on. She's an amazing person. I just don't know if she'll be there for sure yet. I had someone who was going to do art on vans, but I'm not sure if they'll be able to make it because they weren't able to get all their supplies in time.
Okay, I feel like this might be a dumb question, but it could go either way. Vans like vehicles or vans like shoes?
Vans like shoes.
See, I figured it was probably shoes, but I was also like,
It could
the
be
hell do I know?
Yeah.
Could be either way.
Well, funny enough, I actually do vinyl work, so it could have been Vans.
Right, see, that's what I'm like. I'm driving this ridiculous giant dad van, and I'm like, well, I need to marvel that thing up.
Well, I was thinking in the 1970s having your
Right.
wizard painted on the van.
You
I
get
was
your,
like, sure.
your 80s metal cover airbrushed on the side of your van. I was like, I'm sort of into this idea.
I could do that.
See,
And
that's why I
it
had
could
that.
have gone either way.
Hey, Dad Van, we can probably work that
We can
out.
do something with that?
We can do
Make the
something.
Wakanda dad van. I think that would be fabulous.
Anyone that's seen my car, I have my N7 vinyl
Yeah.
on it, and I have my Super Bitcon vinyl on the back. So if you see a
Represent.
blue Honda Fit with N7 on it, that's me.
Okay.
So it's pretty much several different forms of media.
yes.
For,
I mean,
for
including
the-
cosplay.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, let's not discount the artistic merit of
Yep.
we're going to be escorted in by cosplayers.
That
It's
is so
fantastic.
fantastic.
And I understand not only are we going to have the cosplayers escort us in, people are encouraged to cosplay, to
Yes.
come in cosplay.
Yes.
See,
Because
Nikki's
again,
thinking.
it's also
I'm trying to think who I could go with that people don't hate.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Who were you just thinking that people do
the only
hate?
person that I kind of look like in the comics is she worked for Shield. She worked for
Maria Hill?
Yeah,
Yeah, she's terrible.
yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody hates her. And like,
Well,
I'm like, she's
I got
the
it.
one with short hair.
I got it.
You
I
got
want you to go.
As
Ulysses Claw.
hold on, I gotta Google that.
You listen-
Oh,
Because I want to see her with the
bad
fake
guy.
beard. I want to see her with the fake beard. That's right. I
That
just
would
want
be
to see
fun.
Nikki with the fake beard.
Well, you know what? I'm not restricting anyone to cosplaying just from the Black Panther movies.
Yeah.
I mean, why restrict your art form?
Right.
Sure.
Everybody's welcome. I just want it to be everybody to be free and comfortable, and it's supposed to be just about fun. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Ew.
Some fun.
Nikki, Google, for those of you at home, Nikki Google image searched, and now she's mad at me about Ulysses Claw, but I regret nothing. No, I mean it would be really cool
Is that
to.
the Andy Serkis character?
Yeah, it's Andy
It's Andy
Serkis.
Serkis.
Yeah,
It's Gollum.
it's
yeah.
not okay. In homage to Gollum, I would do it, but
Whatever, he was like
He
listen,
was more than Gollum.
Age of Ultron is awful, and he's the best part of it.
Going on 30, which was an amazing movie.
I don't think I've seen that one.
He played the gay director.
Andy Serkis has been in a
13
lot of
going
stuff.
on 30. Is that which body switching movie is that one?
It's where she's a 13-year-old kid and her birthday wish is to be 30.
Yeah.
And
Is that the Jennifer Garner one?
It has Bruce Banner in it.
Mark Ruffalo?
Yeah, Mark Ruffalo's in it.
I was gonna say
He
Eric-
plays-
See, lots of Marvel tie-ins
Banner.
unexpectedly.
He
But
plays
is this the
love
Jennifer Garner one?
Yeah.
Okay.
He plays the love
There was a
interest.
a
And
rash
that's
of these like in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s. There was a
Yeah.
rash of these
Body
big
switching.
remakes, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
And that's where I fell in love with Mark Ruffalo. Was in that movie. I was just like,
don't
I can
even
understand.
know.
Okay.
Who doesn't love Mark Ruffalo?
So back to the art of Wakanda. So it is
there are
basically
tangents that happen.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
Marvel
My
tangents.
therapist used to call it verbal kung fu.
I love it.
Yeah,
You never know where it's coming from.
That's right.
But that's okay.
Everybody was kung fu speaking.
That's my therapy sessions are pretty much the same thing. It just spews out and just like, well, I don't know if anything happened during that, but for some reason I feel better. You know?
You unloaded.
Yeah. Of course, that's why I started the Okie Geek podcast, was just so I could unload and feel better after it's done. All right.
I'm gonna find something.
I've talked about the stuff. And usually that's amazing how much that matters.
Yes.
Has gathering this really been, has that also helped, just made you feel good about what's going on in the community and what you guys are able to offer?
It's for me. It's a start because I'm working with artists that I already know, young men that and women, more men at the moment, honestly, that I admire. I've seen them grow, like some of them literally from like 8 years old, some from birth, and But I used to have this thing where, like I said, I'm in my house, and my kids, I didn't allow them to go out a lot, like. Well, not that I didn't allow them to go out a lot, but they weren't allowed to hang out.
Right.
So everyone was allowed to hang in. So
Sure.
I've
My
collected.
mom was the same
Yeah.
way. Like, everyone
Yeah,
come here.
you've collected.
So I've collected
you've
a
gotten
lot
to
of
know
sons,
these. Yeah,
you know?
yes,
I have
absolutely.
many siblings.
Exactly. So I feel like I'm doing something good for them, and
Yeah.
I'm hoping that after this, I'm not even going to change the name if we do this
No,
again next year.
no,
It's going to be
goodness.
the annual Art of Wakanda show if I can
Yeah.
manage it.
It should be.
And
I
then
think we're going to
Wakanda
get a Black
becomes-
Panther movie every year or two, so it's
Yeah, that we
fine.
could, but even if we didn't, that Wakanda then because I've already seen people wearing a girl from Wakanda shirts,
Yeah.
So Wakanda's going to become more than just that Black Panther specific.
Yes, yeah.
which we do. You know what I'm saying? So I would love to do that, and I'd love to see it extend to other people. But right now, I'm just really feeling good about getting a couple of these kids drawing. I have one guy. He walks past me every day into my T-shirt shop. And, "Where's my art?" And he's like, "I didn't bring it, but I've done some more." Awesome! I just need it before next
But
Thursday.
You just need to bring it in. Yeah.
You're
So
just now on deadline, so make sure you get it in.
Welcome to being an artist.
It's a big change. That's a huge change. But also, I mean, I think as a writer, for me, the thing is not done until other people read it, right? And that might be just a couple of people, or maybe someday it's thousands or tens of thousands. But I think that getting that across, I mean, if you never want to show it and it's just for you, that is fine, right? That is fine. But if you have never thought about any aspirations as an artist, like it just hasn't occurred to you, or if now you're like, yeah, but how? I mean, then start building this concept into your mind that it's not done until other people get to see it, and that this is an excellent opportunity to finish a bunch of art that you have poured your heart and soul into, whether it was just to unwind or whether it was because you had larger ambitions or whatever. It's like, finish a bunch of it, right? By letting other people see it and enjoy it.
That makes it makes it
enjoy it,
complete.
yeah.
It's not really art.
The
unless
circle,
somebody's
close
there
the
to see
circuit,
it, right?
yeah.
And I think it's a great because you mentioned earlier that these young people are not getting a chance to show off their artwork. This is an opportunity that they're not getting
I do
anywhere else.
have a question. Is the art for sale?
yes.
Okay.
Excellent.
I needed to know that.
That's
a
really
very
more
important.
important
question for me.
Bring
Yes.
Well, not
Bring
deprive you of your
money.
easy desires.
Commissions. I didn't think
Oh
about
yes,
that.
I actually listed commissions on the art page, and I know people have. I mean, on the event page, and I know people have probably looked at it and go, $200. Like,
I
we don't
want
even know
a
these
picture
guys.
of myself in Wakanda outfit.
But that's the beauty of it, is that they get to actually see what the artists can do.
Do that?
That's
Yeah.
the point.
Sure,
Yes.
granted, a lot of people might.
I'm so
I wouldn't.
sad.
Well, I wouldn't want to give $200 to anybody for without knowing what they can do. But being able to see their artwork
That's the
first,
best
then,
part.
Yeah.
Is being able to see their artwork, see their style particularly, because like you're saying, there are many different styles that are going to be showing up there, and being like, that's a cool style. I want something like this in that style.
And then commission them to do something.
And then commission them to
Yeah.
do something.
Melanie.
Oh yeah. I totally have like a Facebook page that you guys can look at. I mean,
Sweet.
Yeah.
What's your Facebook page?
Bomani Muhammad. It's just that. And just,
BOMANI.
yes, BOMANI space for last name MUHAMMAD, and just go to my album labeled My Art.
You guys are gonna love this.
There's an evolution of art. I mean, I've posted my art from like since the 8th grade all the way up to now.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
Can I ask how old you are?
20.
20. Good. Okay.
He's a baby.
Okay, let me tell
I'm
you
not
something.
the youngest one anymore.
Let me tell you how much I appreciate. And again, this is not any artist who does not feel like this is a thing they want to do. This is not shade for them, but the bravery of showing your evolution as an artist from 8th grade until now is not to be discounted. That is a huge deal, and getting to see. I don't know. This is always a thing for new artists, I think, to realize that day one is not when you get to look like the thing you have in your head, right?
Mhm.
Like that's day 3,000. I mean, who knows?
I knew
but
a really
but
good
to have
artist.
someone who is accomplishing things in art, like they can look at this is today. Now jump back this number of years. Look, guys, this is doing this over and over every day is how you close that loop. That's very brave, very fantastic. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Funny
it
thing is-
really takes a lot. Yeah.
The funny thing is, my mom said that I've been drawing since I was like 2. And
Yeah, but
she's
we
not-
don't keep all of it,
No.
and then later we
They
feel
always
bad
stay on
about
the
And we
it.
were
refrigerator for
like, we were
so
such
long.
huge nomads. I lost the storage room a long time ago, and there was so
Oh,
much
yeah.
art in there. But the drawing since he was 2 thing, it's funny. Like, I needed an emergency babysitter one day, and I've always worked in movie theaters. So we're in New York. There's a Farmingdale movie theater, and behind it there was this like really high class
Fancy
daycare daycare center, the kind where like the parents had key cards. Anyway, so I went in there to speak to the director, and I was like, I need daycare for one day. Like, my job is like depending on this. And she was like, well, bring the kids in. And I'm talking to her, and the kids, she had an assistant, watching the kids. He has a twin sister. I think I've said that before. And the assistant comes running in with some paper because she was just supposed to keep them busy.
Yeah.
And she hands it to the woman, and the director, she looks at it and she goes, they did this? Both of them? And the woman was like, yeah. And she shows it to me.
Take the more paper.
And they're just drawing eyes. They're 2,
Oh, yeah.
and they're scribbling, but they're both just drawing eyes. And they're just not doing, a circle with a dot.
Yeah,
They are drawing eyes. And she's like, the motor control, the artistic skill. I'm like,
Yeah.
but all they can draw is eyes at 2. But they're like the most realistic eyes you've
Step
ever
one,
seen.
right? Listen,
And-
those are hard.
That got them in there. I didn't even have to pay for like
the
a
hardest
week.
thing ever.
Eyes are really hard.
She just really wanted them there after that. I was like, yes, I had a week of free child care.
Due to eyeballs.
That's cool. That's
They're
amazing.
almost
And
hard.
eyes are really hard. I have lots of illustrator friends that complain about that. Well, I'm not gonna out them.
hate
That's one of
hands.
the top 5.
Hands.
Yeah, detailed
Eyes and
hands.
hands.
There was this. I did a hands project in like.
It's probably on the
Junior
page,
year.
the Purple Swirl one.
Yeah, it's on my
It's probably on
Facebook
his
page.
Facebook page.
That was like when I drew characters, hands in pockets. Hands in pockets for days.
Pockets behind the back.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to
Back,
talk bad
back.
about people who are, in the art world, but, at least, you can draw feet.
I did get
Oh,
feet
this
down
is- okay.
shoes.
Well, I think it's why.
So Tamara and I have already bonded over
'90s.
90s comics, so I know exactly who she's talking about.
There's a, again, I'm not going to name anybody's name.
Oh, I will.
But, so there's
I'll do it for
there's
her.
a particular, Captain America.
Oh God, I
Drawing.
already know.
Okay.
Why?
You know what? We say I started saying this in the group, and now it's a joke in my geek group online. I say he was given a hormone. So you take the artist's name and you add Ojen to the end of it, and that's the hormone Captain America takes. Why he has like such well-developed pecs.
I know the picture that you're talking about. It's also the one that proves that Captain America is a master of small arms combat.
Wow.
That, oh my
Bamani,
goodness.
I'm really sorry that one might have hurt you, but I don't care. I've been telling that joke since like 1992.
Just give me some words, okay?
I'm ready now.
Hit him with it.
I'm fortified now. Yeah, no, it's not a good
yep.
piece of
And
art.
you know what? Honestly and truthfully, I'm not ashamed to say I've done this. I have taken this guy's art and held it up to the kids, and I'm like, if he can be a millionaire.
Okay, so listen, I'm prepared to out this guy because I also have nice things to say about him. So we're talking about Rob Liefeld. This is not a mystery. He was such a big deal in the 90s. He got a Levi's commercial, for God's sake. And, okay, Rob is not a great artist. The 90s were simultaneously all about art and also, I don't know, it's selling a bunch of copies, go nuts. Like, it's a weird time.
It was a really weird time.
But the thing that I can say, your enthusiasm as an artist, I think, goes a long way because he is still a very, like, cheerful, positive. He's still working.
Yeah.
It's not nearly to the level that he was working on X-Force or whatever, but guess what? Nobody in comics is working to the level that Rob Liefeld was doing on X-Force as far as sales numbers and stuff. So he's not working the job he used to work, but he's still working as an illustrator. And the fact that he is, like, knows his lane and is like, yeah, you know, feet. I don't know what to tell you. It'll go a long way.
The feet back here.
It's so having that super positive attitude about what you're doing, and even when you're recognizing that not all of it is maybe where you would like it to be or whatever. I mean, it goes a long way. It's hard to be mad at the guy
You know
once
what?
you get to talk to
I'm
him.
He gave us
mad at-
Deadpool.
You know what I am super
Plus
mad
minus.
at?
Plus minus.
Well, you know, yeah.
Hey, Nikki,
I'm
who are you mad
still
at? Circa
super
1992.
At Gerard Way.
Why?
Because he got to be a rock star and a comic book writer.
You
and
just gotta
that's
want
not
things
fair.
bad enough. That's not true. That's not how that
It's
happens.
not fair. He got to be the lead singer of My Chemical Romance and make an awesome comic book series.
More
That's
than
just
one.
Not,
It's annoying.
it's
Wait,
not fair.
I mean, hey, you know, if you can do a few things, do a few things.
That's right.
You know what? Same thing I tell the kids. Like, there's no point if you have
He didn't shoehorn himself.
right. You know,
Didn't do
there,
that.
I always talk about talent and skill. You have talent that you're born with,
Mm.
and then your skill is when you choose to develop one of your talents.
Yes.
If
yes.
you have the opportunity to develop more than one talent,
Oh, for God's sake, go for
go
it. Do
for
it. Do it.
Like,
Yeah.
do all the things. You know what I'm saying?
Do all the things.
Do all the things.
That's actually a great
I'm
point
gonna make
because
a
I
do all the
was
things t-shirt.
You should.
do all
You
the
should.
things.
Do all
I was
the
listening
things.
to a TED talk and they talk about people that they ask has picking your career for the future. You know, we ask these really young kids, you know,
Oh,
what
it's
do you
the
want to do when you
worst
grow
idea.
up?
Yeah.
And
I'm just looking for ideas when I ask that to kids.
what do you want to do when you
Because one day I'm gonna grow up.
That's right.
someday?
Hey, got any good ideas for me, kid? Fireman? All right. Batman?
My
You bet. Sure.
Yeah, Batman. Let's get.
Aim
But
high, friends.
They really glorified the fact of the people that don't have a direction and that they do have.
Oh, in this TED Talk.
Yes, in
it
this
was
TED
the
Talk.
be impressed by people who
Yeah.
aren't sure what they're doing.
Yeah, and
Right.
because
I get that.
because
Yeah.
they're not
It's my whole
afraid
life.
of. John, actually, it is really is.
Yep.
Because you're not afraid of starting new things because you've been a beginner so many times.
Yeah.
And that's
Now I'm
something
just
to be-
tired at the idea of beginning new things, but it's not scared of them.
But these people that don't know what they like, I want to be a doctor, and they know all their life that they want to be a doctor. They know all their life that they want to be a writer. They bring over these things that you wouldn't normally get from starting over again.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
again and
It's
again.
great
And
if
then
you
the,
know.
the sense
If
of
you know,
failure is
great.
stronger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because you have a vision and then you
And
don't
it's not
accomplish
exactly
it.
a failure, but you're just like, you learned it,
Yeah,
and
that's
you're
just,
done.
yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, you're maybe not done. You might also come back to it. And I think even more, I love the idea of doing all the things because as artists, and I grew up as an actor, a lot of times they're like, well, do you have something to fall back on? And of course, my father was the one who says, "Don't have something to fall back on, because if you do, you'll fall back on it." But what I love is, as an artist, try this, doing all the things, have something to fall back on, have that other thing that you're going to fall back on, another form of art.
Yeah.
Another way of doing something, so that way you can continue if you're doing 3D art, or you're doing performance art, or whatever it is, you stay in that realm of artistic ability that unfortunately I think it's not being lost, because I really trust that the millennials are bringing it back.
They
but
really
it's really the future the past generations, the Gen Xers, and that's of course myself, and the baby boomers, and that's my parents.
Yeah.
I don't even know where I
Really
fall.
strangling it. Unfortunately, I
I'm
feel
somewhere
like
in the middle. It's weird.
I have no clue.
Like I said, I was raised
You're
in
a
the
millennial.
90s.
It's better to not
No,
know.
not really. 'Cause
Okay,
it's
no,
like-
no, no. I'm saving us from that rabbit trail.
In the middle.
Zillennial.
Okay,
There's a
wait.
little.
Do we really need labels?
Only as marketing firms.
That's right.
So no.
Wait,
I have
doesn't look like a marketing firm.
a Art of Wakanda question for you, and if I accidentally start a thing, we can edit it
What
out.
kind of question is it?
Are you all still accepting submissions for the art
Yes,
show?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And are there any? I mean, I know you said it's like a mixed media; it can be all kinds of things. But are there some kinds of guidelines or something like that, or where can people contact you or send that kind of thing? And this may be the same thing at the end when we say where can we find you on the internet. But
Okay.
I guarantee there are artists listening to this right now who are like,
And
I got a piece for
want
this.
them. I want
you
them.
know.
I want them. Guidelines, because I've broadened the scope of Wakanda in my head. It doesn't have to be directly related to the movie. I feel at this point, especially again, my community, I think that just the existence of the movie is inspiring.
Absolutely.
So I'm willing to accept tribal, Afrofuturism, just
Yes.
anything that celebrates blackness. Sorry
Yes.
guys, I mean, hey,
No,
you know.
do not be sorry.
Well,
About
no,
you will,
Listen.
in this room,
well, I'm not talking
you will not be
specifically to
sorry.
you.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
everybody
talking
listen.
specifically to you. It's
We've
just,
had
I mean, I have no shame in celebrating my blackness.
Please don't.
And it's funny because I grew up in the Caribbean, so blackness wasn't a thing for me until I got here.
yes,
You know?
yes, yes.
So yeah, you know, any art is welcome. From anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, any art from anyone, because in the end, we're a community. We're either a community of artists, a community of geeks, a community of humans. We're a community, and I love I'm so hyped for this movie. So
I think it's going to be a bigger movie than I think even Marvel is not aware of
No.
how huge this
No.
movie is going to be, because of the fact that it does
They don't.
celebrate the African societies. It celebrates blackness that we have. Unfortunately, you don't have to be sorry about it, because the movies and comic books have been celebrating whiteness for
Minute one.
when
Yeah.
I said sorry, the reason I said that immediately was Issa Rae, I think, an actress, when she went to the awards and they were like, who are you rooting for? And she was like, I'm rooting for everybody black, and like the world went crazy.
That's
No, we're rooting for everybody black. Forget it.
I
You know?
get it. No, that just makes. Yes, that makes
And
sense.
that's what it is. But so yeah. Speaking about the not
wait.
making
You left off where they can contact you with art submissions.
Yes.
I want to make sure I
that
get that.
fist is coming back.
Okay. I just didn't want to lose
No, you're
that
right, 'cause
thread,
I do
because
that.
that artist who's listening has a piece. You know.
Yes, and here we go. No, so I'm on the internet. I'm on Facebook. We're at Facebook /G3 Guild. It's the Guild of Geeks and Gamers. Right now, to make it easier, the Art of Wakanda poster is the headline. So, you know, you're looking at black and purple and gold. It's awesome.
It's gorgeous.
And my logo is a big G and a 3. Yeah.
You can actually go to Facebook and search Art of Wakanda or Guild of Geeks and Gamers, and
But they can just send you a
Yeah.
DM through there to
They can-
contact
they
you
can-
about
They
submissions.
can message
Okay.
me through there.
Awesome.
What else? I'm on Instagram. Also,
Are you on Instagram as the same thing, G3 Guild?
let me just double check that because I'm so bad at that.
Yeah.
There might be an underscore. There might be a dash.
Oh,
I know.
Trust me, I understand.
Okay, so on Instagram, I'm the person who hasn't figured out how to use Instagram yet.
Me
It's
either.
G3. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah.
It's G3_Guild. That's
Guild.
GUILD. And yeah, there's a lot of art up there. Mostly the ones I've been playing with.
Yeah.
So
Some previews of what will be.
yeah, they're actually previews. I did a
Good.
little quick video the other day. I'm excited about this. So yeah,
No,
anyone,
of course
like I
you
said,
should be.
anyone who's still interested in bringing in anything to display, quite welcome. I would love to have it. There may be an opportunity for a live painter or someone who wants to do tribal face painting.
Oh, yeah.
Because the person I originally reached out to, I reached out to a few people. One was moving out of town, and one was booked that day. They may become free, but right now the live painting may be up to one of my guys.
I see live painting all the time, so I know they're out there. So, folks, if you know somebody out there who does the live painting, the face painting, especially tribal painting, get them in touch with Tamara because I think that would be huge, and
Yeah.
especially
Tribal
because a
painting
lot of
would
kids
be
will come to
really
this.
Yeah,
And it'd be great to have them involved as well.
yeah. There's a young man. I'm really hoping he can make it, and I can't think of his. Well, I can think of his name. I can't pronounce it, but he does. He does this awesome tribalism. No, I'm sorry, motifism. That's what he calls it.
Okay.
It's black and white, and it's awesome. And on his Instagram, I've seen him do it on floors, on skate ramps.
He's local?
Yes, he is.
He does skate decks?
Like,
Oh.
I guess he went out to a park and he did the.
He did the ramps.
The ramp.
Yeah, like
Murals on ramps and
Because
stuff
I
like
have
it was
that.
a
great.
collection of skate decks that are just like this.
That need art.
They need art, yeah.
Right? Clearly, they need art.
They need art on them.
I'm thinking, you know what? That same artist asked me if I was going to be doing another art thing soon, and I was like, I didn't have anything planned yet. But as I was walking by and looking at your albums, I'm like, you know what? We're going to be doing something real soon.
Getting ideas.
Dad, if you're listening, I'm coming for your records.
No.
Okay, no, I'm not, because he'll strangle me. But we're going to hit up some old thrift shops or something. We're going to find records.
Actually, I have a bunch of old records that were my grandma's that aren't worth anything. So if you need them, hit me up.
Hey.
I think we still
I
have
will
some.
hit you
Get us-
up.
I was about to say
get-
KOSU.
get
I've
in
already
touch with
pulled
KOSU
out
here.
the expensive ones.
I'm pretty sure the KOSU, we still have records, just piles, because we used to do live classical music,
Okay.
and so that's why we have all these records. I don't know if we got rid of once we did all the artwork on along our walls. I don't know if we got rid of the records, but I doubt it because as
They're in
a
storage
state
somewhere.
agency, we can't just get rid of
Get
things.
rid of stuff
Okay.
that's complicated.
So we might still have a pile of them. So get in touch with our folks here at KOSU, and I'm sure we can get you some.
Oh,
records.
I will definitely
It's a
do
great.
that.
It's a great medium. You look at that record, and I made one myself. Mine was just a Trivial Pursuit triangles. That's the only thing I could think of. That's the other thing. I'm not an artist. I'm a performance artist. I sing. I act. I mean, that's what I do.
That's
I
why he
cannot
has the
draw.
radio voice.
I have such an appreciation for people who can do visual art.
You know what? I'm sorry.
I'm going to agree with him because I drew every day from 13 to 18 and realized I was crap at it. And so
You got better.
You had to get better. I mean, that's
I
a lot.
did, but like I plateau. That's the thing. Like I was talking about those people that can do the thing, but they plateau.
Yeah.
And so like I just plateaued, and I wasn't getting any better. I was homeschooled, so I didn't have access to education.
Yeah, it's hard to find. There's a point. One reason you may have plateaued is a thing that I feel like this art show might help other artists out with is if you don't have new influence.
Exactly.
Right?
And I didn't.
Yeah.
To not necessarily you want to do the thing that you saw, but you're like that just gave me ideas.
But
Um,
I started going to conventions, and I do cosplay. I do a lot of cosplay.
Yeah.
And like one
Which
of
is
the
an art
things,
form in itself.
and one of the things I love doing is stopping the cosplayer and be like, "How did you do that? How did you get that effect on that clothes? How do you get that shimmery?" And they're like, "Oh, well, I cut it this way."
They will tell you.
They will tell
Yeah,
you and
and-
talk
Oh
shop.
my
In the
goodness,
best
there's
way.
a lot of art that goes into that. Like,
Yes.
okay, I do a little bit of everything, mainly because I have a lot of talent,
You are the
but
first
not a lot of
person.
skill.
You are the first person who needs to wear your own do all the things shirt.
I'm thinking I really
and they
need
have the
to.
guild name on the back. Do all the things. Guild.
Yeah, I'm thinking I really need to, but I'm very curious, and I know I have creative talent, so I try a little bit of everything. I look at the cosplayer stuff, and I'm like, I don't even know how you did that with foam.
Yeah.
I'm like, right now, I'm thinking about the Wakanda spear, the spears for the Dora Milaje, and I'm like, okay, I've gotten as far as PVC and cardboard. I don't know where I'm going from
You're
here.
like, somebody somewhere has cracked this nut.
I
Where are they?
We'll
To
sit
the
down and
internet.
figure it out.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like, dude, you're an engineer. How do I do this? You know? But the
I have to look
cosplay-
at pictures because I could probably get you a diagram on how.
But it's still it's so much involved in it, and it is. And the one thing I from the very moment I saw the Black Panther trailers was the beauty. Oh my
it's so
gosh, it is so.
beautiful.
And it's that way in the current run of Black Panther in the comic books as well.
Yeah.
It's just so gorgeous.
It is.
And I'm glad that they are bringing that in and not just making, which of course they certainly could have done, put a Black Panther in New York City or put him in L.A. They're actually keeping him in Wakanda, in Africa, to stay with that style.
Which-
That is so gorgeous.
And I love that. I love that because, you know, even though it's a fictional country, there's like an ongoing depiction of Africa as a wasteland, you know. And the racists love to say, if we didn't you'd still be living in huts, dude. Some people living in huts are the happiest people on the planet.
I mean-
but it's not all huts.
Yes. I mean, not to tell you things you probably already know, but I mean, this is actually a big. Wakanda is a really exciting opportunity to do a thought experiment of what if colonialism didn't mess the joint up, right? I mean, we're talking about the continent from which astronomy comes from and algebra comes from,
People
and
don't get it. Like, that kills me.
You're
Like,
right.
you had people living in huts, scratching constellations in the dirt. I mean, if we're going to pretend that's all they had.
Right,
You know what I'm
yes.
saying? So, yeah.
and then a bunch of guns and disease. I mean, we honestly, you have a similar situation in North America in a lot of ways, right? You just have a bunch of guns and diseases show up from Europe and change the course of the place, and that there's a real opportunity here to do the thought experiment of, no, what does this look like? What does this culture look like? And I mean, Africa is not a monoculture. There were cultures within, but what does an African culture get to look like outside from the influence of European colonialism? That's exciting. And when they basically make it look like if Jack Kirby had the ability to find an African artist to collaborate with, that's what they make it look like. I am ready.
Yeah.
I am ready to be I'm ready to join Wakanda. Like my king.
My
You know,
son
I'm
asked
ready
me,
to go.
He goes, well, would you go move to Wakanda? And I'm like, heartbeat.
Are you kidding me?
It's like African Krypton. Yes, I would.
Yes. It is future because that is the idea, is that what happens if you have a society, an African society that is cut off from white colonialism and allowed to grow and to be its own society and not be brought down again by disease and also brought down by people just coming in and
Devaluing them as
Yes.
both as people, as a culture. Anyway,
As an
I'm
entire
very
continent.
excited.
Dude.
I'm gonna hush, but I'm very excited about this concept and have been since they announced
Yeah.
it.
Very
Like,
much appreciate this conversation because I'm Native American myself, and so it's a very similar circumstance that we
Yeah.
have to play. And so it's great that we can have this conversation openly and not get offended. Let's not
right.
and just
Right.
listen. People are
Yeah, that's
listening.
one
so
of my
much
biggest
more
things.
than
I'm
they
always
used to.
like, okay. I kind of like halfway stalked you guys after Michael hit me up, and I'm like, okay, what won't I say? What can I say?
Safe space. Safe space.
This is.
But I think one of the things you guys touched on, and I might get a little political again, but no, one of the things you guys touched on that I love about the movie is that it is Wakanda, both in the comics and from what we can see in the movie, is embracing different African cultures.
Yeah.
And they're presenting it. Like, I've seen in the promotion stills, you know, the gentleman with the disc plate in his mouth.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Yes, yes.
you know, so they've adopted and they've represented a lot of different, you know, African cultures in the movie. And I know in the book, Wakanda is made up of separate tribes. They all have their own thing
Right.
going on.
Yeah.
So I think showing it as a broader chunk, like demographic, you know,
let it be
demographically,
kind of a cross section
right,
of
cross
African
that's the word I'm looking
cultures.
for.
Yeah.
You know, as a broader cross section of African cultures, I think that's one good thing. And then when you talk about the visuals, okay, first of all, we already know that they literally went to Africa before they started
Yes.
planning this stuff. But when you talk about the visuals, I've had this little rant for years and years and years and years and years. But I'm going to use the word shithole.
That's
No.
fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay, so here we go.
I'm just
Have
glad
you
I
ever
wasn't the
noticed-
one Michael had to bleep.
Sorry.
Because it's usually me. But please continue.
Okay, so
Also Nikki.
the bleep hole countries, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever
Oh,
noticed? Have you ever noticed when you look at pictures? Well, no. Let's start with America. If you're on the highway, you see maybe one yellow car, one green car. Everything's black and brown and grays and dulls. I'm from New York, so you're looking at a sea of people in suits. It's black and brown.
Yeah.
Have you ever noticed in these pictures of these bleep hole countries that even when they're standing in dirt, the colors are vibrant. The people, these poor, sad people are happy. Their colors are vibrant. There is life in their clothing. And of course, one of my favorites, if you get a picture of tribal, like, you see pictures of the Maasai or whatever.
Yes.
They have these beautiful outfits on, and they're in their bare feet in the dirt. There's not a speck of dirt on their clothing in these
Yeah.
pictures.
Yeah,
And I love the fact that color, and it's not just Africa. Like in the Middle East, the saris, and that vibrancy of life that comes from these so-called poor nations. I love that that's depicted in this because for
Yes.
me,
I love
that's
that
something
you
I've
bring that
always
up.
grown. I've always seen that. Like, it's a joke, I guess. It's a joke. I don't know. About, Mexican houses being painted bright colors. It's like,
Yeah.
so people here, that's a weird thing. Again, I grew up in the Caribbean. My house was bright pink. I don't
Yes.
even like pink. My grandfather built this house from the ground up. It's bright pink. It has marble verandas. And we're not rich by anybody's standards, but there's a vibrancy.
It's
there's
different.
a life.
It's a different expectation of the way things ought to look.
And
right?
I think I love that in this movie. You get to see all of that vibrancy in every costume. Even when they're wearing suits, there's color. But okay, I'm sorry.
I saw a picture. I'm sorry, Nikki.
Go ahead,
You have a character whose name is Black Panther, so the guy is going to have to mostly wear black a lot of the movie. But I have seen pictures, and I think they were actually
It's not just the skin. I'm sorry.
different, a different but related conversation.
I know.
Power Ranger
but
being
but
black. It's
the seeing even then a difference between blacks, okay, like in the clothing,
Yeah.
so that even you get stripes in
Shades.
different shades of black, right? So that and I think it was a red carpet photo, actually, not a set photo, but still I was like, that is how you. I mean, I can imagine T'Challa being like, "How come I don't get to wear colors?"
Well,
And
that's
I'm
why-
stuck in this.
suit glows. Deal with
Well, but, so how does he adapt that? Like, how do you get that same kind of desire for vibrancy when you are kind of trapped in a color palette? We'll see that with, listen, it glows. Also, stripes. Also, the necklace, right? Or
It's
the
called
that
a
is
habit.
Okay.
Habit.
that is also the cover of the soundtrack album. Like, that's all it is a field of black with that necklace. I'm like,
Yeah.
there is so much thinking going into that, even down to
Well, that's why they went with
Him.
the version where it's made out of vibranium,
yeah.
so they could
Let's make
add
it-
that color.
Let's
to
make it gorgeous. And also, by the way, this rarest, most expensive metal in the world, literally swimming in it. What's up?
I'm wearing it. You
So
made me
good.
forget my point, though.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
Nikki. I'm just really excited about that because I'm with you on the vibrancy of color. I'm writing a thing where I am right now having to think about how an African American character would swim in Caucasian waters while still maintaining some of that individuality of their culture. Like, that is a thought process I've been doing this
Okay,
week.
let me help you.
I remember.
It's called code switching. Google it.
No, yes, I'm aware. Yes. But that's like research I've been doing this very week, and I also have Black Panther in the back of my mind, and then I get to see pictures of T'Challa wearing things that are shades of black, and I was like, this is all really great. Like,
Kind of closed down, but I want to know when is I know it's on
oh yeah,
Saturday the 17th.
all the deets.
What times are you going to be open?
It is Saturday the 17th. The show officially starts at 7. We do have some tickets for the 5 p.m. Black Panther show showing at Tinseltown. If anyone wants to pick those up, as well as the
From
tickets to the
there straight to the
Yeah,
show. Okay.
right. So, well, I mean, if anyone wants to purchase the tickets from us, that way, like, some of the people who are going to be at the show will be there together. that
Okay,
kind of
cool.
thing.
That'd be great.
But anyway, so the show's definitely starting at 7.
Give us that address again.
It's 1304 Northeast 23rd Street. It's at the corner of It's between Lottie and Kate. The entrance is going to be on the Kate side. Like I said, we'll have some Doras there to lead you through the wilderness into Wakanda. And I'm thinking 7 to 11.
Is there?
We'll stay there till people want,
Yeah.
they're like, okay, can you drag us out of here?
So
now?
it's 7 to question mark. That's how you know it's a
Officially
party,
11, but
right?
yeah, it's a part. I'm hoping it's a
Are there
party.
tickets? Do I need to buy tickets ahead of time to the art show, or can we just come to the art show? How does that work?
There are tickets available. I'll give you an easy link. It's bit.ly/Geekanda, GEEKANDA, which will take you to the Facebook
You are
event page.
damn right, it's Geekconda. Why wouldn't it be?
Geekanda. One of my artists actually walked in as I was doing something, and he looked over my shoulder. I think I was working on the flyer at the time, and he was like, Geekconda. And I said,
Write that
I'm
down.
using that.
I'm busy right now. You write that down right now.
Yeah. So that should take you to the event page on Facebook, which, of course, then there'll be links to buy tickets. The tickets for the show itself is just $12. Tickets for the show and the movie are $25, and then I have a little geeky package that's $30, where you can get a little some.
It's the bonus, the VIP package.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
that's
VIP
awesome.
package.
That's
very
wonderful.
important Panther.
Yeah, 7 o'clock and start at 5 o'clock. Go see. Well, I know I'm going to go see it this weekend. As soon as it opens, I'm hoping at some point. I know I'll see it opening weekend. I just don't know whether I'm going to go stay up Thursday night and I get up early in the morning on Friday mornings but
You can go right from the movie to work.
yes, I could. That'd be
Don't.
fun.
That would be interesting.
Bosses of Michael Cross. I do not endorse this activity.
Awesome. Threee, thank you so much. We're so looking forward to this. It's going to be amazing.
Thank you for having us. I already look forward to it too, and you guys have to be my new best friends. We're going to talk about writing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, please let us
I'm
know
going to introduce you to
anything
his
that's
sister.
going on.
Anything else you start I mean, of course, everybody go to the art show, but after the art show, make sure you stay in contact with us with anything else you guys have going on, because we would love to hear more about it. Yeah.
I would
was so
love to.
excited.
Thank you.
I saw it on Facebook and I'm like, oh, why don't we know about them? And why
I
we
did
not have
not
them
get
here?
to say this, and I want to say
Please.
this. The artist Jerry Bennett
Friend of the
Friend
show.
of the show.
is joining us.
Oh, how
Yay.
wonderful.
And he's actually been nice enough to donate one of his sketches and his
that's
time.
fantastic.
So he will be there too.
He's a good guy.
Huge
great.
shout out to Jerry.
Actually, a
Bennett.
friend
He does
of a friend.
lot
I didn't know much
lot of
about him
events.
before.
He's just super nice. I mean,
And I'm like, now I'm stalking him on Instagram.
And very
I'm
talented.
stalking all my new friends on Instagram.
Yeah.
And like, he posted a picture the other night of game night, and I'm like, oh man, I just broke down my gaming tables. My dad and I built some gaming tables for the building, so we kind of just stuck them in storage. I'm like, okay, we're gonna have to get these back out now.
Yeah. Absolutely.
When it warms up. Because it's cold outside.
It is go.
Oh, man.
Guys, thank you so very much. We're looking forward to this. It's going to be a lot of
Thank
fun.
you.
Thank you for having us.
That's going to do it for our show. You can find us on our website at okiegeek.com, also on Twitter and Facebook at Okie Geek Podcast. That's also the address for our Gmail account. Would love to hear from you. You can also find us on SoundCloud, Stitcher, and iTunes. And Nikki, where can people find you on the World Wide Web?
You can find me on Twitter at Retro Robinson and also on the Okie Geek Facebook page. You can also find me on YouTube at Poetically Metal.
There you go. And Josh.
You can find me on Twitter at Joshua Unruh, where currently you will hear me going on and on and on and on and
And
on.
on and on and on. And
Shut
on
up,
and
you.
on.
About the most. This is on point. This is on brand for our talk today. The new MCU podcast that I am co-hosting with narrative genius Lonnie Diane Rich of Chipperish Media. It's called Listen Up, A-Holes.
Listen up, a-holes.
So
love
check
that
that
title.
out. We have dropped all of Phase 1, so you can watch, or I should say, you can listen to all of Phase 1 right now. And we will be doing a hot take on Black Panther. It won't be like our regular super in-depth episodes, because I'll probably have seen it twice by then, but I mean, we can't do like the deep dive.
Do
don't
the
wanna
But
spoil
we have a
deep
special guest
Ooh.
who will be joining us.
Do we know this special guest?
It is Sista K of Sista Speak Productions will be
Ooh.
joining us for the hot take on Black Panther a week or so.
That's fantastic.
I have one more thing to add. Also, check out the Elijah Bailey show, A Little Bit O Anime. I was on there last week, and it should be coming
Talking
out.
about which anime?
We actually talked about several. We talked about Lovely Complex, Berserker, Dragon Ball Z. I mean, we hit all the
Right.
early Sailor Moon. We actually mentioned you quite a bit during Sailor Moon.
Well,
That's right.
I got some skin in that game.
Yeah. So yeah, we had a good talk about anime, Gundam Wing. We hit them all. So
Now,
Subscribe to the podcast, also rate us, and leave a comment. The Okie Geek podcast is brought to you by Okie Comics, a bi-monthly anthology publication showcasing the talents of Oklahoma creators with stories featuring Oklahoma. Copies are available at Half Price Books, New World Comics, Speeding Bullet Comics, All-Star Comics, Amazing Action Comics, Loot and XP, Boarding House, Paseo Plunge, Museum of Osteology, and Commonplace Books, with more locations coming soon. You can find out more at okiecomics.com. So until next time, along with Bomani and Tamara, I'm Michael Cross,
I'm Nikki Robinson.
and I'm Joshua Unruh.
reminding you to keep calm and geek on.